we are pleased to be joined by the play-by-play voice on radio for the New York Yankees, Dave Sims. And Dave, so many Yankees fans are going to be excited to hear you starting this season. How excited are you to be back? This is something of a homecoming for you, certainly.
Well, it's a flat-out homecoming, no question about it. I'm thrilled to be back, to work with a lot of you guys and calling Yankee games. I mean, we're talking about one of the great brands in the world, not just the country, and the baseball tradition speaks for itself.
Hey, Dave, before we look forward to the next chapter in your career, I'm wondering if you can talk about your time with Seattle and maybe a message that you have for the Mariner fans.
Well, John, I tell you, I had a great 18 years with the Seattle Mariners, and being in the great Pacific Northwest, I still kept my home here in New York. Learned a lot, had a lot of good times. I wish we'd made the playoffs more than one time, but we had a lot of great moments. I got to see Ichiro at the last couple of innings of his career when he was still bringing it. Felix Hernandez in his prime. I got a chance to call the Cal Raleigh, the Cal clincher that got the Mariners finally into the playoffs a couple of years ago, which was just one of the most electric moments I've ever been associated with or involved with in my career as a writer, talk show host, and play-by-play guy. So much love to the folks in Seattle, and I look forward to seeing a lot of those folks when we go back May 12, 13, 14. Yeah, I already checked the schedule. That's one of the first things I did.
Dave, you've been sitting in that play-by-play chair for decades. When you do sit down before a game, what is your mission to know that you're going to have a great broadcast and that your analyst is also going to have a great broadcast?
Well, I'm psyched to work with Susan, no question about it. And every day when you sit down, you come in, you do your prep work before you leave and go to the ballpark. And Michael knows that, and you guys have seen me work in both clubhouses every day, both managers, and as Bill Parcells so rightly said, you got to shop for the groceries, along with all the stuff, the prepared stuff, the acres of trees that have to die for the information that we get to use every day. But no, I'm excited about this opportunity. Susan and I are friends. We see the game the same way. I mean, the numbers, I take the numbers to a point, but it's a people game. The anecdotes meld that in with the play-by-play, and obviously on radio, it's a bigger premium on describing what is happening. As a Marty Glickman disciple, I adhere to that very strongly.
Now, Dave, not only are you taking over a chair of probably the most famous franchise in the world, but you're taking over a chair that was held for over 30 years by John Sterling. That's a tough act to follow. Have you thought about following John Sterling, or do you just have to be Dave Sims?
A couple of things, Michael. I already basically replaced the legend in Seattle, Dave Niehaus, Hall of Famer. I was brought there when Ron Fairley retired, and I knew Dave was getting near the end. He was going to retire or whatever. And so that was an interesting bit of pressure right there. And coming into this, I look at it this way. I've been in New York my entire professional career. I've done, Daily News, FAN, WNBC, MSG, NBC, CBS. I mean, I've done it all. So it's a homecoming. I'm not a guy that's just landed from Mars. People know who I am. People who have the radio and TV packages available at MLB.com, et cetera, MLB at Bat app. They know who the heck I am. So I'm just going to be me, man. That's all I can be. I'm not looking to imitate anybody. If I was looking to imitate anybody, I would have become an actor.
There's always Broadway, obviously, being in New York City, so you've got that avenue. And also, Dave, we thought you were coming back to renew your career as an anchor at Satellite News Channel. I guess that's not happening. You'd rather just do the radio, right?
Are you in our old studios there up in Stanford?
I think we are, actually. I believe we are, yeah. We feel your presence.
Give us 17 minutes. We'll tell you the news.
Perfect. I do want to follow up on something Michael was saying in terms of working with Susan Waldman. You have a long-term friendship. How important is that, and does that come across? Because you could, let's say, conceivably join a team where you're coming in cold with somebody, but you know Susan very well.
Well, that's a huge advantage. And you got to remember, I've been doing, a multitude of basketball games, football games. I've worked with more than 100 guys and gals. So I think that if you can't work with me, I think I'm the easiest guy in the business to work with. And I'm not coming in with any airs or anything. I want to come in and do a job. I want to have some laughs. I want to tell a story. and and then go have a cold drink of water or some kind of adult beverage afterwards. But I'm not trying to overcomplicate anything. I'm going to be me. I enjoy the heck out of what I do. I think I'm a people person. I love baseball. I love all the sports, but I love baseball. And it's the environment I wanted to be in, and I've enjoyed it in 18 years, and I think it takes it up another level, being back home in New York with the Yankees and working with Susan.
Dave, let's take a look forward to the 2025 Yankees, the moves that they have made this offseason. What are you excited about? What are you looking forward to when you get to spring training?
Well, I like the pieces. First of all, it's like, of course, remember from Animal House, hi, I'm Eric Stratton, Rush Chairman. Damn glad to meet you. So I got to do that whole thing for a few weeks for the guys I don't know in the ball club. But I thought the pieces that were put together after Soto goes over to the Mets. I mean, I look for Goldie looking to have a big year at first base. I think Bellinger's a terrific ad. Devin Williams, I mean, come on, the airbender. You kidding? The guy's one of the greats of his time. I look for Fried, hopefully, coming off the second Tommy John, he'll look to thrive at Yankee Stadium. And then I hope that we'll continue to see more athleticism, better base running from the Yankees, more clutch hitting from the Yankees. I know the home runs, big part of Yankee tradition, et cetera, big part of this team. But hopefully they can spread it out with other pieces of the game, getting guys on, getting them over too. Yeah, who doesn't like the 3-run homer? But the basic fundamentals, I thought, and I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know in terms of the base running and that kind of stuff, and defense, catch the ball. I think I'm looking forward to seeing what improvements are made in those two departments.
Dave, as one of the 3 former print journalists who's part of this interview, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you to go all the way back to those daily news days. What was the pivot point, or what were the moments that told you that your future really was going to be on the broadcast side of journalism?
Well, that was my plan the entire time. Coming out of college, coming out of little Bethany College in West Virginia, done radio there, and had done a lot of newspaper work, changing my life. I got an intern at the Philadelphia Inquirer, my hometown, for 2 summers, and learned a lot. Hey, kid, you know anything about soccer? Guess what? You're going to learn. But in terms of broadcasting, I did a lot of broadcasting in college after I played 1 year of football. But I always knew I wanted to be in broadcasting full time, and the opportunity to come to New York and just be in this whole milieu and understand, what's going on in the media capital of the world, and have opportunities and make better chance to even sometimes stumble into an opportunity to do this kind of work. I had to take that chance, and I'm glad I did. But I grew up not only as a sports fan, but a fan of so many of the great announcers that I listened to in the late 50s and 60s and into the 70s. So, when I was at the Daily News, I tell you what, it was a great learning experience. I feel like I got a master's degree without the diploma, but it was a great learning experience. I had a lot of fun, met a lot of fantastic people, and had a lot of great experiences.
Dave, you have so many iconic calls with the Mariners. You're an enthusiastic broadcaster. Obviously, you want the home team to win. And we've got a couple of radio and TV columnists who we love here in New York. And if you even kind of like trend at all toward favoring the home team, you get ripped. Are you going to change the way you do things? Is that something that you're cognizant of?
Hey, man, Michael, you've heard me. You've seen me do games. You know what I do. I don't use we, us, them, they, and their, that kind of stuff. But you knew I was rooting for the Mariners. And I also appreciated the heck out of some of the fabulous performances I got to see during my time. I mean, I saw Mike Trout explode on the scene. I mean, Pujols had some good years with the Angels, not as good as he had with the Cardinals. But, they always gave St. Louis fans, and I think to this day, the respect, lauding them for their respect that they have for the game and outstanding performances. I'll talk about that, but you'll hear it pitch and timbre in the voice. You'll know, as I'm giving a score, Yankees are up 5-3. They'll be a little bit different. You'll hear maybe a little bit different sound if they're down. I'm going to describe what's happening, and I make no apologies. I'm working calling Yankee games, for WFN for the Yankees. I want them to win. They're not going to go 162-0, but clearly I'm rooting for the Yankees. And and I think people know that in the hiring process, they've listened to my work. They know who I am, and that's how I roll.
Well, Dave, look forward to it. Yankees fans certainly looking forward to the changes in the timbre of your voice for the positive on the winning side. And pitchers and catchers less than a month or about a month away. So you've got to be thinking about Tampa coming up here pretty soon, right?
No question about it. I've been looking at all kinds of notes and numbers and going back and reliving games. I found some old games on YouTube, which I've seen a few times. 52 Dodgers, Yankees, Game 7 World Series, 1960 World Series, Game 7, Mazeroski's home run, just to refresh my memory of, with Mel and Red and what those guys sound like. I've listened to a couple things that I've done, that you can always get better. And I'm excited about this challenge. And I think we're going to have a good ride here. And this is a good team. Don't forget, they lost the World Series, but they're still defending American League champions.